The first general film opening convention I will be discussing about is company idents. After looking at many film examples such as Bridget Jones's Diary and The Boss, I have discovered that the average amount of film idents to be shown before the film starts is 3 to 4, with or without an audio bridge. Audio bridges connote the genre of the film and create a certain atmosphere for the audience. In almost all the examples I have looked at least one of the company idents has been a film studio which is part of the Big Six, for example Universal, 20th Century Fox or Paramount Pictures. There are 3 company idents shown for this film Bridget Jones's Diary: Universal, Studio Canal and Miramax Films. This next example here that I've looked at is For Those in Peril, a warp film production, and it's interesting to see how many idents are used for a warp production compared to a working title production. The second convention that I will be discussing is the use of extreme long shots as the opening shots. After looking at multiple genre examples, for example Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Oblivion and The Boss, I discovered that the stereotypical opening shot used is an extreme long shot. This provides exposition for the audience and denotes the setting. Although, I did look at some other examples, for example For Those in Peril, Scream and The Girl on the Train, and discovered that the opening shot used is not always an extreme long shot, but instead a close-up shot of an object or person of significance. This next convention is a very big convention with general film openings. This is titles. Here in this example, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, you see more than 20 titles in the title sequence. For the example Bridget Jones's Diary, there are also a lot of titles in the title sequence, yet again, over 20 titles. This is somewhat common to have this many titles shown. A completely contrasting example, Wild Child, has only 4 titles, including the main title. The first 3 titles are company titles. Another example is Oblivion. There are no titles whatsoever in this film opening, except the main title of the film. This is very unusual to see. The fifth convention that I will be discussing is the idea of the main protagonist being identified in the film opening. For the examples The Girl on the Train, The Boss, Bridget Jones's Diary and Wild Child, you almost immediately see the main protagonist. For Bridget Jones's Diary here, the main protagonist Bridget is shown immediately in the opening shot, providing no narrative enigma whatsoever. On top of this, she's speaking in a voiceover to further provide exposition. For The Boss here, the opening shot is an extreme long shot of a building, but the second shot is a close-up of the main protagonist. The same happens for the film Wild Child. The opening shot is an extreme long shot, then the second shot is of the main protagonist. The fifth convention I'll be looking at now is genre signifiers. In the examples Oblivion, and Wild Child, there are multiple signifiers that can tell the audience what the genre of the film is and tell them what a certain character is like. In Oblivion, there are frequent sci-fi genre signifiers, scenes such as big drones, high-tech technology, shots of space and the planet Earth, futuristic buildings or structures, futuristic clothing and facilities, etc. In the example Wild Child, there are multiple signifiers which suggest the genre of rom-com, such as the pink furniture in the main protagonist's room, the girly clothing, the messy room, the non-diegetic music playing over the scene, and the high-key lighting, etc. The sixth convention I will be looking at is the transition to the main body of the film. Sometimes it is hard to distinguish when that point is, and sometimes it's not. The example Pulp Fiction is a great example to look at for being able to distinguish the end of the film opening. This is indicated to the audience by the freeze frame on the final shot of the film opening, and the 2 characters in the first scene, and the dramatic start of non-diegetic music on this freeze frame. What comes after this is the long title sequence for the film. The seventh convention I have looked into is the duration of film openings. After looking at The Boss, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Pulp Fiction, I've discovered that the average duration of film openings is 3 to 6 minutes. The duration of film openings won't really be affected by genre. The next convention I will be discussing is non-diegetic music / diegetic sound film openings. Non-diegetic music usually denotes the genre immediately. So, for the examples The Boss, Oblivion, Pulp Fiction and Submarine, non-diegetic music plays during the film opening at some point, helping the audience to clearly denote the genre of the film. There is an audio bridge at the start over the idents in the film, The Boss, which denotes the comedy genre immediately. You can connote that this music is upbeat and jolly. For the film Oblivion, yet again there is an audio bridge used over the first ident for the film, Universal. This music can be denoted as piano notes, long-held high string notes and long-held low string notes. This connotes sadness and nostalgia. In the example Pulp Fiction, non-diegetic music starts playing at the very end of the film opening when the title sequence starts. You can denote that this music is very upbeat, fast-paced and has connotations of rebellion, which connotes the gangster action genre. The last convention I'll be discussing is diegetic voiceovers / narrative enigma. Diegetic voiceovers provide the opposite purpose to narrative enigma. They provide exposition for the audience, giving them some context and information about the film and characters. Narrative enigma, however, provides the opposite, which is mystery. If the director wants to create mystery or narrative enigma for the audience in the film opening, voiceovers would not be used. Narrative enigma derived from the theorist Roland Barthes. His theory was that there are 5 codes in any media text: the enigma code, the action code, the semantic code, the symbolic code, and the cultural code. In the examples for Those in Peril and Oblivion, the enigma code is present in the film opening. In the film opening for Those in Peril, there are multiple shots of the ocean. These are somewhat random for the audience because they have no idea why the ocean is important in this film. Mystery is created because the audience are not being told what is going on. Same applies in the film Oblivion. The opening shot is a long shot of binoculars at the top of the Empire State Building. The audience have no idea how significant the object of the binoculars is because they haven't watched the entire film to see. Diegetic voiceovers are used in the film openings of Bridget Jones's Diary, as you can see here.
It all began on New Year's Day in my 32nd year of being single. Once again, I found myself on my own and going to my mother's annual turkey curry buffet. Every year she tries to fix me up with some bushy-haired, middle-aged bore, and I feared this year would be no exception.
There is also a voiceover used here in the film for Those in Peril, as I have mentioned just a bit earlier. But the thing is, with this voiceover, it doesn't really tell the audience that much about the film, except some brief overview about the ocean and stories that people have told about the ocean.
I remember when I was little, the mums and dads used to tell all the little kids about the devil in the ocean. How it had cursed the town and all the people in it.
These provide the audience with a lot of context and information about the film and the characters' thoughts, feelings.